Thanks for tuning into the channel. And today we're going to be talking about Toro and insurance coverages when your vehicle's not on Toro. So when it's not rented, it's not on a booking, what policies are out there? Even though I've been doing Toro for over 2 years, I don't have all the answers, but I want to share with you what I do know in hopes to help any newcomers or current hosts on the platform. But before we get into it today, I'm going to ask for a big favor. Check out the description box. I got some links there of everything that I use for Toro that's made my life easier. And if you don't mind smashing the like button, leaving some comments down below, and subscribing to the channel, that really help, and I appreciate it. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Most of you, if you're thinking about joining Toro, you're just gonna most likely post your car on the platform, and that's how your insurance company. That's how the majority of us do it when we start. That's how I did. Now, I'm not recommending that. There are some risks if you do that, and one of the biggest risks is if your insurance company was to find out, most likely they're gonna drop you. Your policy does not want you renting out your car for money. It's not a commercial policy. It's not set up that way. So if they were to find out, you run a risk of being dropped and things like that. To avoid that, you want to have a different type of policy. Now, I do have videos already of Lula and things like that. So you might be wondering, why am I making this video? Well, there's been some changes. I just found out that Lula is shutting down. So some of you that have Lula, if you're watching this, you're gonna have to look for alternatives. I heard they're recommending, I think there's a new one called Tint, and I think they're gonna be referring people to that company. And there you go. That's one of the updates. They came out with a new company called Tint. I don't know too much about it. I am gonna learn about it and make a video about that one. I am also gonna look into why Lula is disappearing, so I can inform everyone as well that watches. But yeah, so Lula's not going to be around, and using your personal insurance company is not the best. So what do? Well, if you check out, I have ABI on there, which is American Business Insurance. And that's what I have. That's what I use. And I'm going to go a little bit into that one. And there's also other ones that, like I just mentioned, the Tent. There's also GMI. So the good thing is we still have options. Now, yes, it is scary to see that Lula is, going away. And and you're probably thinking like me, why? Right? Because if Lula's going away, then who's next? Could it be ABI? Could it be GMI? Could it be, well, Tent's new, but I want to know, right? These are things that come to my mind. Are they going to go away? Is there soon not going to be options? Is there an option where you can use your car on Toro, right? Like book it out to people that book your car and also personal. And from what I know, there's Liberty Mutual. And I will love that, right? If you can drive your fleet for personal use, so for fun, for work, and also rent it out and make money, that'd be great. I don't know of a policy besides Liberty Mutual that would do that. And of course, I got a quote, and it was very costly, at least in my opinion. So it didn't make sense financially for me to do that. I really wouldn't make a profit. So someone like me, it didn't make sense. So I went with ABI. That's the one that makes sense because it's affordable. It's with the tracker and the insurance is $100, and I could drive the car as long as it's business use. I could drive the car, and if something were to happen, I would be protected. Now it is mileage restricted, 250 miles, can only be for business use, not personal. And they do track this because the car is going to have a tracker, and that's the way ABI knows, hey, they can keep track of the mileage that you're using the car and things like that. So if you are using the car for personal use and you're not keeping, you're going over the mileage and you're doing things like that, you run a risk of then them finding out, and if there was an accident, not being covered, and that's very risky. So I wouldn't recommend any of that. What I would recommend is, if you're gonna do Toro, I started with my own car, and I'm not recommending that actually, because that's what I did. And I, at that time, just used, I had my regular insurance. I just used the Toro insurance. When I learned more, I realized, okay, that's not the best way to do it. At this point in time, when I was learning more about Toro and the insurance options, I had made the decision I'm going to go ahead and buy a car just specifically for Toro. And that's when I got the proper insurance. And I only use that car for Toro. And that's what I would recommend. If you're going to do Toro, do your research and do things the right way. I would never recommend for you to do it, the way where you're hiding it from the insurance, because there's a lot of risk in that. So I don't recommend that method. Of course, it's up to you what you want to do. I think, doing it the right way is the best way, because things do happen. And when things go wrong, it could be really costly if you're not doing it right. But the main point of the video is Lula's going away. We got a new option. And if you are thinking about doing Toro, you probably have no idea about all the options out there and what you can do. And I hope you find this helpful. Really is, personal auto insurance is not going to cover if you're trying to make money with your vehicle. You're going to need a different policy, because if they find out, they could drop you. When you have the car on Toro, Toro offers protection for while the car's on rent. Now, you may be wondering which one I use. I use the 75 plan. I think it's the most popular plan. In my opinion, it's the best plan. It has a small deductible of $250. And you might be wondering, does Toro pay out? Yes, they do, because I've had incidents with them and they've always paid out. So that's how it's been for me. Now, I know there's other YouTube videos of individuals saying they've had some negative experiences. In my opinion, it must be that they're not following the terms of service. A lot of us don't like to follow all the rules. We cut corners, and then there's consequences for that. So as long as you don't cut corners and you follow the rules, they will pay out. But again, Toro's protection's only good for when the vehicle is booked. Once the vehicle is not booked, Toro does not going to offer any protection. And to have your vehicle on the platform, Toro does require for you to have insurance. So you have to at least have liability if your car was paid off. If your car is financed, you're going to need full coverage. And regular auto insurance, like most of us are used to, like Geico and Allstate, if it's just a regular policy, they don't want you doing that. So you're going to need a different type of policy. And the policies that I know that I could at least inform you and hope to help you make your decision will be ABI, GMI, checking, Tint just came out. And again, the one I use is the ABI. Now, I do recommend you do research on all these. I just like to share what I do, what I know. I'm not telling anyone to do exactly what I do. You have to make that decision on your own. But I'm hoping to inform individuals, because when I was a newcomer on Toro, it's so much information. I didn't know what to do. So what I would do, I would go on Google, I would go on forums, I would watch other videos I would watch videos on YouTube, and that's how I started to learn more and more what's out there, and I started making decisions, and I can share with everyone that watches what's worked out for me, my experiences, and hopes to help you on your journey if you're joining Toro, or maybe you're already on Toro, and hopefully these videos can help you be more successful on the platform. And then when it comes to insurance, it's tricky. There's so much information out there, and there's so many policies, and I feel like it's like a gray area. We don't, like, a lot of people don't have an exact answer. And really the only thing that I've been able to find that's affordable, in my opinion, to be on the platform and doing things the right way are these companies that I mentioned. Now, I am going to be making a future video. That way we can see, hey, why is Lula going under? Because it is concerning. Is this, is the other companies going to follow? And see if Tint's offering anything different than ABI. Because one thing I will say, all these companies, even though one's GMI, one's ABI, the other one's Tint, from in the past, from what I've seen with Lula and ABI, they were all very similar. They all, you can only use the car for business use. They had a restriction on the miles. You had to have a tracker so they could track it. So they pretty much were all the same. When it came to price, they were all very competitive. So you would just, pick whatever one worked best for you, whatever one you thought you liked best, but they were all very similar. But the great thing about these companies are giving an opportunity for individuals to be able to put the car on Toro, be able to use the car, to get oil changes, car wash, things like that. And if something were to happen, they would be covered, and they didn't have to worry about, anything being denied or dropped and things like that. Because again, if you just have regular auto insurance and they find out you're renting out your car and, you get in an accident stuff, you run a risk of them denying the claim, being dropped and not being paid out. And then, being in a really bad situation. And we don't want that. So these are the options that I learned about that really helped me at least have a better peace of mind. Again, don't forget to do research to see if it's something that works for you. Hopefully you found this video really helpful. If you have questions, don't be shy. Leave me some comments down below. I'll be glad to try and help you any way I can. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, leave some comments below, and check out the description box. I got some great links on there that could help you on your current fleet, or if you're thinking about joining Toro. Again, thanks for watching.